Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
Hey, so glad you're back. This is Dan, the No Comfort Zone guy, helping people get out of their comfort zone by telling all kinds of crazy stories. So just a trip down memory lane. So I had a chance to sit down and talk with one of the peeps that I'm with. And what ended up happening is the conversation turned to, some of the travels, some of the places I've been. And it focused around the Hawaii time when I moved to Hawaii for 4 years to basically broaden my horizons, darken my skin, and whiten my teeth, and lighten my hair, all that stuff, when I was out there for 4 years. What a fun and crazy time it was, because I took a huge risk. Traveled all the way across from Virginia, drove across country, landed in Vegas for a little bit too long, and then shipped my car over to Los Angeles and then put it in the water. Took a plane over to Oahu and ended up living there for 4 years and basically started completely over. And it was a great experience. So glad that I had that opportunity to do that. And if I had a chance to do it all over again, I don't know. Some days I'd say I'd do it in a second. Other days I'm like, there's no way. But the reason why we were talking about it was about, why would you come back to a place in the Midwest where it's dark, it's gray, it's rainy, it's cold out, and leaving the sunny islands of the Hawaiian Islands? Why would I do that? And really what it came down to is family. But I look back at that time, and I came back for family because at the time my daughter was about ready to be born. My wife was 7 months pregnant. And I just didn't feel like I had the discipline to live in Hawaii and raise a family. But that's what I want to kind of get to, is that no matter where you're at in your life, no matter where you are currently, no matter where you go, there you are. Like, if you don't solve your problems where you're at, you're just going to bring them with you, and you're going to create more problems down the road. See, not a lot of people know this, but I left the state of Virginia to run away from my first ex-wife. I couldn't cope with dealing with the struggle of breaking up and going through all that nonsense. So I did the best thing I could. I traveled as far away as I possibly could, all the way to the other side of the world, basically, and wound up in Hawaii. And it's a matter of fact, it was about 90 days from the day I decided to the day I actually arrived. It was probably about 100 days, but 90 days sounds cooler. So by leaving, Virginia and heading to Hawaii, what I did was I took everything with me. I left all of my responsibilities behind, and I took all of my work ethic, all of my ambition, all of my goals with me to Hawaii, except I also brought my lack of self-discipline, my extreme gift for drinking beer and partying. And I really wasn't in a place where I really should have done that. I even took my drug addiction that I had back then and brought that with me as well. Even though I kept it at bay for a long time, it crept back up because I really wasn't working on myself. When you're in your early 20s and you've made a little bit of money, you're not really at the point in your life where you've arrived and you could sit back and enjoy your success. Because that's what I did. I began partying too early thinking I've arrived, and I've rested on my skills as being a highly successful salesperson to ride out the rest of my life. And quite frankly, my life hasn't even begun. I got too comfortable too fast. I kept reassuring myself that, listen, I was number one where I left before, and I'm worth it. And I have these objectives and these goals, and I'm a goal achieving, ambition seeking, young guy who's just trying to make my way through the world, and I'm going to be successful come hell or high water, no matter what. If it has to be, it's up to me, and I'm going to produce. And that's what I did. And then I went on conquesting. Like, I had to go after these goals like a madman. And after doing that for a couple years and chasing these things and making money and having a nice house and having cars, and then realized I could just walk away from it all. I could just walk away because I'll do it again somewhere else. I'm young enough. I'm smart enough. I'm good enough. I'm going to kick ass and take names, and I'm going to move across the world and start over again. Life has a funny way of putting you in check, and it's called a reality check. So when I got there, it was pretty tough. It was pretty tough. I was going through my money extremely fast. And I think that was a lesson starting to be learned about the value of money. I was burning through it like crazy, just trying to live my lifestyle. I was still going out like crazy. I was still celebrating. I wasn't nearly working as hard, and I started to lose it. And then I started to lose some confidence along the way, because everything that I was based on my ability to produce. And if I'm not producing, then I feel like I'm not worthwhile. And it's so bass-ackwards. It's completely wrong. And as I was telling this story about where I was and how I basically became, this might shock you a little bit, but a lot of people think that I'm kind of a nerd, or I kind of went through, like, I've never had an exciting life. There's some people that think that. But the fact of the matter is I've lived an amazing life. Oh my God, the failures that I've made, the fun that I've had, the ups, the downs, the everything in between. I've got a full life, man. 360 degrees of just chaos, drama, fun-filled, hope, joy, and everything else. But the one thing I kept coming back to is I realized that I was not the version of myself the best version of myself that I could be. I was always striving to be that person, but sometimes I just kind of decided to go in cruise control. And it was that type of mentality. Even though I've had these successes, a little bit here, a little bit there, I used to ride that for a really long time. And I realized that during that time period, as I'm telling the story, that I was an extremely shallow individual. Sure, I could hit an objective, get a goal, I could make money, I could produce a certain lifestyle, but there was no substance to who I was as a person. I was doing it for the wrong reasons. And as I'm talking to this young guy who's getting started out in this wonderful and exciting world of sales, it really came down to, what's the reason you do this? What do you do this for? I sure wasn't doing it for my customers back then. I was doing it so I could actually buy drinks at the bar. I think that was as far as my ambition went. And then when I decided, you know what, it's time for me to leave, and it's time for me to go start a family, and we're going to do this, and I'm going to go back to the mainland, and I'm going to be with my other family, and I realized something. I was doing it more as a settlement, like, I have to leave this because, quite frankly, I'm not as good as I was. And I lost a lot of stock in who I was as a person. And I let that happen through the excessive partying, through the low substance when it came to my goal setting, when it came to the lack of value in family. And I'm just going to be very honest. You can't have a party lifestyle and be all about family. And just a really crazy time for me back then. But looking back on it now, it really made me who I am. And I'm trying so hard, really trying hard to help people get out of that crazy party lifestyle, that no comfort zone. It's not always about the goals, the ambitions, and the money, and the watch, the cars, and the house. It's not about the women. It's not about the relationships. It's not about that. It's about who you are and who you can help. What's the reality that you can change for the people around you for the better, so that people feel really good about being around you, but more importantly, they feel good that they were just with you, that you're not manipulating or taking from anyone. And I would say, relatively, I was an okay person. I wasn't a terribly bad person. Some people might totally disagree with that statement. But in the end, I wasn't really that bad. I didn't really try to take advantage of anybody. I was a little bit more selfish than I'd like to be back then. And in talking to this person, I could kind of start to relate that he kind of gets it. He kind of understands that, you know what? If you want to be a great version of yourself, you have to start being a good version of yourself right now. And you have to start trying that now while you're in your 20s. So if you're getting out of college, and let's say that you're getting into the workforce. Another thing, let's just say that you're in the workforce and you're trying to get to the advancement, the next step. Or better yet, let's say that you've had some success, you got kicked in the teeth, you got body slammed on the ground, and you're making your way back up there. What you really need to do is you need to know the method of the no comfort zone. You really do. And what that comes down to is this. You don't have to be asking permission from anybody in your life to be successful. It is entirely 100% up to you. You are 100% accountable for your success. But we forget that. We forget that, you know what? It's not the luck. It's not the opportunity. All of this stuff is created, and you do that by following the blueprint. You truly do by coming. Where am I at right now? I know full well when I left Virginia, I know what baggage I was bringing with me. And I unloaded it when I got there. And it sat around for a while, but that baggage, man, became alive. And it started to take me down. So when I left again to go to the next place, when I left to come to the Chicago area, that was crazy because I had all the baggage and it was worse than compounded. And I lost self-esteem. I didn't have the self-confidence. So when I tell you that the No Comfort Zone Blueprint can help you establish more confidence and change your reality, I guarantee it. Because what you're going to put yourself through, getting through this no comfort zone period, it's going to increase your self-confidence. It's going to increase your awareness. You will, by the end of it, grow into the version of yourself that you maybe hoped you could be or that you wanted to be. You will. There's no other way because you set the bar. How uncomfortable can you get is how much you're going to grow. And it's kind of in an organized fashion, but, would I ever do it again? Would I go back and live in Hawaii for 4 years? And would I go, do what I did? I don't know that I would do it that way. I think I might have fixed my responsibilities when I was in Virginia so that I could truly enjoy Hawaii and that lifestyle and the things that we have, where I'd have a sense of peace, a sense of calm versus a sense of drinking beer, going to the beach and living that lifestyle. Because I'll tell you what, one thing that I learned, the island of Hawaii and the people that live there, I have met some of the most amazing and fantastic people in my life in Hawaii. To this day, I hold that island with just some of the best memories of the people that live there, the element of family, the element of just welcoming and that spirit of aloha. It was so wonderful that even when I was looking at the map of it tonight, going to the places where I lived on the map and showing the person, it was heartwarming because I can say that I lived there and I've done that, but more importantly, I've met some wonderful people who will have an impact on my life for the rest of my life. I just wish I was a better version of myself when I was there. So for whatever it's worth, Hawaii was a great place. I did get outside of my comfort zone. I risked a lot. I landed on my feet. And was it great? Yeah, it was a great time in my life. But it could have been so much better had I been a better version of myself. Easy for me to say. Anyway, this is Dan. I'm going to sign off right now. Listen, if you want to get out of your comfort zone, you can start living on purpose. Go to thenocomfortzone.com. Check in. Give me your email. Let's stay connected. Until the next podcast, get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at No Comfort Zone 1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.